everybody. It's Rebecca Mendoza with Rebecca and Company Real Estate Group. And today I'm shining my spotlight on Artin from Prime Lending. And we're going to talk about interest rates and the market. Welcome.
Thanks, Rebecca. It's so good to be here with you.
Yeah, I really appreciate having you. We were having our team meeting yesterday and you were talking about rates. And I thought this is something that everybody's curious about right now. So I thought that maybe you could share what's going on with everyone that I talked to.
Okay, cool. Yeah, of course. It's like the hot topic right now. It's what are rates doing right now? Where are rates going to go?
Exactly. So where do you see interest rates going? Like short term, long term, like what's going on right now?
Hey, so it's the $1,000,000 question. And if anyone knew for certain, they'd just be sitting on a beach somewhere because they'd be printing a lot of money. But where I see things in the short term is I think the Fed meeting on September 20th is going to be pretty pivotal. It could change things because there's as of today, and everything's moving like minute to minute with these kind of things. But as of right now, it seems like the consensus is that the Fed is going to skip a rate hike, which would be great, which I think would like send a little bit of calmness into the marketplace. But there is that potential that they raise rates. And if they do raise rates, I think we'll see rates jump up again. Right now, we're sitting in the low sevens to about 7% for an average 30-year fixed rate. We might see that if it goes up, I imagine it'd probably go up another 0.25%. It'd probably push the upper limits of things. Basically, what I think we're waiting for is we're waiting for the Fed to say, we're not going to raise rates anymore. And I think you'll see a nice drop in rates once that happens. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen until early next year. So I think we're kind of in this range of at best, we're hoping in the high sixes to the low sevens. And that's kind of our reality until next year. Once the Fed signals that they're going to stop raising rates, I think you'll see the interest rates immediately drop. If you look at like the 10-year Treasury bond, the typical margin between like mortgage rates and that is about 2%. It's much higher than it normally is right now. So that's based on like what their market is pricing in for what could happen. If we can if we can eliminate the idea of the Fed raising rates, I think that margin will come back down to where it normally is and you'll see rates drop, but that's probably going to happen next year.
Yeah. So right now, next year, it's already September. So
yeah,
going into, and I know you may be not knowing exactly what time next year, but so there's two things, right? There's the short term, like what are buyers doing today based on rates versus what might happen next year when rates go down. So for the short term, right now, what are buyers doing to win their deals in today's market? Because I know you see so many deals coming across your desk. You know exactly what buyers are doing right now.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what you do is like, what do you do when you have lemons? You make lemonade, right? So what we have is we have high interest rates, but on the other side is like, even though there is like less inventory, it's still pretty competitive. But you can find ways to make deals work. Like what we're doing a lot is this buy down strategy. For instance, I had a buyer that went into escrow last week. The interest rate for her was like, she was doing 10% down. It was a condo. The interest rate bumps up for that. Normally the rate is around 7.5%. But what we're able to do was like negotiate out a seller credit for about $10,000. So what we did is instead of we're going for $500,000, we went to $510,000 and asked for $10,000 credit back. What we're doing with that is we're using that $10,000 to subsidize her interest rate so that for the first year, her rate is 5.5%. And then that covers her for 1 year. And then the next year after that, 6.5%. And then after that, it would revert back to 7.5%. But in the short term, it's like you're kind of weathering the storm because we're weathering the season. Like we're in a winter right now. We're in a high interest rate season. So seasons change. So it's a matter of like, how do you get through this piece of it to get to the next stage? And so that's what we're doing in order to get the buyers to have a payment that's affordable. And then on top of that, what we're doing is we're getting loans underwritten so that when we're asking for these credits, we're saying like, hey, we're asking for a little bit of credit back for the closing costs, but I can guarantee you that the buyer is fully approved so that you're not going to have a situation where you're going to accept escrow and fall out. And with a lot of sellers being in like dire situations, because that's mainly the sellers right now, it's death and divorce and things like that. Providing some level of certainty is gold. So we give them certainty, ask for a little bit of something in return. They get something that they feel confident in taking the offers. So the sellers are willing to take those offers. We'll get them closed, and that everyone wins in that world.
Yeah, and you touched on something that I also want to address just a little bit, which is most or a lot of the sellers right now, the ones who are selling, are mainly because they have to for some life reason versus I want a bigger house or move to this other area in the same place that I live now. And for those ones for the sellers that I work with, I am talking to them, especially if their house isn't like turnkey, beautiful, ready to go. Offering this buy down to potential buyers is actually a fantastic strategy to get them to net what they want. Because even if they're offering them a credit, the benefit to the buyer is such that the buyer might not even mind paying a little bit more to net the seller more in order to be able to get that 2-year payment. Do you know what I mean? Because that is immediate savings versus long term. When you're talking sales price to a buyer, if you're going to be in the property for, for 10 years or so, which is kind of the average, what at the sale price is not really the thing that's going to, matter at the end of the day. It's mainly what your payment is, because that's what you're dealing with on a monthly basis. So that is something that we're talking about sellers to do to make their properties more attractive if they have any kind of flaws happening, which again, when you're in a distressed situation or something where you have to move, you may not have the funds to fix and repair a place up to look fantastic, or you may have to do something quickly, which we have a solution for that first part also, which we'll talk about in another video.
Nice. Yeah, no, I think that's a brilliant strategy. Like you have to differentiate yourself, because if you're just putting it on the market and you're not giving some kind of incentive for the buyer to do it, then you're just kind of out there with everyone else. But giving that incentive, I mean, that extra 2%, that could translate into like $50,000 or $60,000 in price. Yep. So it's like, give them a little bit of credit, subsidize the rate. Everyone wins in that situation.
I was going to say it's a win-win. Yeah. Exactly. So, okay. I don't want to go too far out because, like predicting the future, but we know, like you said, I love the fact that you said it like seasons. We're in the winter, it's a higher interest rate season, and we know that it's going to change because that's what happens in real estate. When rates do change and come down, what is going to happen to home prices in this low inventory market that we have and probably will continue to have for some time?
So I think, I don't know, I went to a real estate conference with this man, Bruce Norris, who's called the market a couple times, and it was interesting watching him. Basically what it sounds like, or what I think will happen is I definitely think prices will jump. That will happen. But I do think there will be a little bit more inventory because maybe some families can actually move up. So I think there will be some opportunity there, but I do know that prices, like if you can take this market and drop the rate 1%, I mean, how many more buyers are going to enter in the marketplace? And it's not like, and a lot of these people, I don't think it's going to be a flood of inventory. It's going to be some inventory because some people are just like, I got to get out of this house, but I'm at 3%. Maybe they're going to be willing to pay like 5.5%. But a lot of people that still owe 3% have a 3% mortgage, they're not going to sell when it goes to 5.5%. So you're going to see prices jump. And so that's why I think now is the time to buy, because why not take advantage of the opportunity here? You want to do what people aren't doing. If everyone is buying and you're just following that trope, you're just going to be kind of following the market up and down. This is the time where people can build wealth.
That's right. Absolutely. So segue into the last question is, do you think it's a good time to buy?
Yeah, absolutely. I truly believe like by using a buy down or some way to subsidize the payment and making it affordable, that it's going to pay dividends later. I mean, especially in this market now, it's like, what is your alternative? You're paying $4,000 or $5,000 in rent. That money is just going out the window. It's find a way to buy, create that wealth, and build that compounding interest of like accumulating appreciation, tax deduction, all that kind of stuff that comes with home ownership. It's every seed you plant now grows so much more. It's the longer you wait, the longer that plant is going to take to grow. That's
right. So I really appreciate your insights and sharing it with all the people in my world. It's so needed right now because we've got all this misinformation and all these different opinions in the media, and you're in the front line, so you really have a handle on what's going on. I always recommend that my buyers, no matter what stage they're in of buying, whether it's they just became a thought or they're ready to write a contract, speak with you or your team actually to get their game plan going. So if I have somebody interested in finding out where they fit and how long, what the process is, how can we reach you and your team?
Definitely. You can always find me at Artin, ARTIN, at primelending.com, or you can give me a call on my office number. It's 800-963-4623. Once again, 800-963-4623. You can leave a message. If somebody doesn't pick up, leave a message. It pings everyone on my team. We have about 13 people. So as soon as someone's on there, we'll get you a call back. All my people are well qualified, high performing individuals, and we really care about the customer's experience, and all we want to do is be able to provide information. Our mission is to give the buyers the best information we can without our self-interest in mind. So it's whatever's the right thing by the client, that's what we're trained to offer them, so whether it could be good for us or not. So
and that is why you guys are a part of my team. Thank you so much for being with me, and I can't wait till the next time we got some good information to share.
Awesome. I look forward to it, and thank you so much for having me.
All right, bye.
Bye.